Alright, so welcome to my video, the 5 first steps to researching your family tree. I hope you find this video helpful when you're beginning your research and that it serves you useful while you're going through your journey to discovering your roots. So these are just 5 tips to get you started in genealogy, and they are not the give-all, end-all tips. They are just really simple and summarized, and each individual case will be slightly different. I want to remind you that this is a time-consuming hobby and that you will not find all of your ancestors in one quick try. So, to begin, let's start with step 1. So, step 1 is start with what you know. However, before I can really jump into this step, I need to explain to you guys what a pedigree sheet is. A pedigree sheet is a very common form that a lot of genealogists use. It helps them organize information on their direct ancestors, and it shows how each direct ancestor relates to one another. Now, by direct ancestor, I mean you, your parents, your grandparents, and your great-grandparents, and so on and so forth. It does not include your aunts and uncles or your cousins. So, just to give you an idea of what one looks like, here's a pedigree sheet. Hope y'all can see it. It includes information on you or another ancestor that you start with, your parents, your grandparents, and your great-grandparents, and it includes information such as birth, date and place, marriage, date and place, and death, date and place. Some also include burial, date and place, but not all of them do. Now, there are a lot of variations from simple, like the one I just showed you, to really pretty fancy ones, like this. And with this one, you'd have to enter the information on your own. There are also ones that are even more simpler than that and even more plain. And they look like this. So they're pretty simple, pretty basic. You can find them on a ton of different genealogy websites. Pretty much just Google the word pedigree sheet and you should probably come up with something. Alright, so the next thing I want to let you know is that you are going to write everything down that you already know. So you can do it on your pedigree sheet, which I will highly suggest you do. You could write it on a regular sheet of notebook paper, on your computer word processor, or if you already have a genealogy program, you can put it in there. Now, remember, when you write this information down, be sure to include maiden names for any female ancestors that you have. Maiden names will be crucial to finding out their parents. So, hopefully if you know it, you can write it down. It's okay if you don't know everything. The bottom line is to just put everything you know on paper and organize it so that you can figure out what you need to find. And just a quick tip, if you need to get more information and maybe you don't know it, but you know that your Aunt Emma may know it, or Grandma Patty knows it, or even an old family friend knows it, it's a good idea to ask them. So many people are not fortunate enough to have multi-generational families, so I really strongly urge you to start asking them questions, and it can be anything. You know, names, dates, places, occupations, nicknames, anything that could help. And in reality, everything will help. And you have to remember, genealogy isn't just dates and places. Stories are half the fun. So get them and write them down, record them with a video camera, a regular camera, a tape recorder, anything. Just get that information because people aren't around forever. Alright, so once you've written everything down on your pedigree sheet and it's organized a little bit, then you're going to start making a family group record for each couple. Now, a family group record, or a family group sheet, the same thing, just different names, is a sheet that gives details on a particular couple, such as a husband and a wife, and the children that come from that particular couple. So once again, you can find these on tons of different websites. Just Google it. It'll come up with tons of things, but I just want to give you an idea of what they look like and what they include. There are tons of variations to it. They have some that are super plain, like this, and it includes information on the husband, such as his name, sometimes his parents, birth information, things like that. It also includes information on the wife, sometimes her parents, her birth, her death, when the couple was married, and all their children. Some of them have information and space for your sources that you may list, or for other spouses. So other of them look like this, and they're a bit more detailed. You can get them pretty much just specifically for your own religion. For example, if you are from the Church of Latter-day Saints, you can get ones that have areas for when they were baptized or endowed or pretty much whatever. And then the last one looks like this. And don't worry if they have more than 2 children. They have pages that can go on like this. As you can see, this one gives you a gigantic box where you can list anything that you want to research or ask or things like that. And it also gives you an area where you can put any notes and explanations or sources of the information that you found, which can be extremely helpful, but we'll get to sources later. So, step 2. Decide what information is missing. So the next step in finding your ancestors is to figure out what information is missing. So maybe you have a date for when your grandparents married, but you don't know where they married. That's okay. Whatever the information is missing, be sure to circle or highlight it on your sheet so that you can easily see what is missing. Now, for the beginner genealogist that is just starting out from scratch, I suggest you focus on 3 main categories of information to find: the birth, date, and place, the marriage, date, and place, and to whom, obviously, and the third category is death and or burial, date, and place. It's very important that you record these things because those are the 3 main important events in a person's life, and they are what genealogists use to track their ancestors. And just a quick tip on how you record your places: make sure you put them in the format of city, county, then state, and if needed, country. Also, if the date is just a year or even an approximate year, that's just fine. Don't worry about it. You can put a more distinct date down once more research is done and you have more information. Alright, so that is the conclusion of our first part 1, and part 2 will be uploaded right after this. So, hope you enjoyed. Thank you.